All right, join with me today is Evdog of the Player's Voice and my good friend and former Alliance leader. I love you, buddy. And we're going to talk about Diamond Stars because there's a lot of stuff that has happened behind the scenes, and we want to give some context to this system. And I kidded about this yesterday on stream, you know, in my community manager whip skip by saying it could always be worse. Like, this system could have been a lot worse. Would you agree? Like, what they initially wanted to sell the community was a lot worse than this?
Absolutely. And I think you hit it on the nose when you said that this is their decision, right?
This is their decision.
The Player's Voice nor the Envoys were the people who came up with the idea of a progression system. They showed it to us and they said, this is going to happen. And the only choices we had were to work to make it better.
Yeah, so I want to be explicit with that. At the end of the day, this is Scopely's decision. They did listen to feedback from multiple groups of people, but at the end of the day, they decided. But I will say that the initial version of this system I saw is drastically different, and this is a lot more player-friendly. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just put some context in there. When we first saw it, there was no access to, the red stars weren't flattened yet. There was no farmability access. Our first initial thought was, well, how the hell is anybody going to get to diamond?
Yeah, there was no access to 7 reds. The game mode where you could get this system was gated behind 7 reds. It was more powerful. And then they weren't even talking about increasing the access to the yellows. So at the end of the day, what this is just basically blue stars or a 9th star, an 8 and 9th and 10 star. It's called Diamond Stars. But the main thing is that you can only get it if you have a 7 red, 7 yellow. In its simplest form, it's just an extension of the red star system, right?
Yes, it's absolutely.
And so I think that was my gut reaction to this system, is that it was powerful, expensive, and lazy. And what we're going to read here today, the people watching this video may still feel that way, or you may hate this, but I do want to stress that it was a lot worse. All right.
Yes.
So we're going to read the blog, and then we're going to go over, because you have some concerns, and I want to go over your concerns with the system, which I wanted to echo because I agree with your concerns. And then we've also got a sheet here on how the yellow stars should be more farmable, and I'm hoping that we can hold them accountable because there's some pretty big promises made in this blog. First things first, red stars via incursion campaign. So this has already been implemented. To assist in the preparation for your journey into diamonds, the availability of red stars has been significantly increased. New incursion campaign is introduced with its own energy, although I wish there was a red dot for it, where you can get tons of red star resources for targeted characters. So this has already been implemented. No issue, right?
Right. Though that came about, though, that wasn't in the original plan.
Correct. Yeah. All right.
We tried to put a place where free-to-play people could grind.
Yeah. All right. So character shard increased availability. So this was not a part of the original proposal at all. This is all new, and I feel like this is largely very player friendly, and I am insanely skeptical that they're going to actually implement this. Would you agree?
Can you say it one more time? I'm sorry, my phone rang while you were saying it.
So the yellow star character shard increased availability is largely very player friendly. This was not a part of the original system, but I am insane. It was not at all. But I am insanely skeptical that this is going to be implemented.
Right. So we were as well, and we told them that we were going to hold them accountable. We put together a spreadsheet that shows when characters are dropped, and their promise was at the 4-month mark, every character will become farmable. And at the 7-month mark, the beginning of the 7th month, which is the end of the 6th month, if you're engaged, you should be able to farm them to 7. yellows.
So I feel like this part of this post will benefit like free-to-play players the most, in getting yellow stars quicker. Let's just read it real quick. In addition, increasing the availability of red stars will be a significant increase to the availability of character yellow stars in many ways. Establishing a more consistent cadence of character release, more clear, makes it easy to plan a strategy to acquire new characters. For most new characters, availability of their shards will be increased 4 months after their initial release. All players have the opportunity to get non-dark promotion credit new characters to 7 yellow stars by the end of 6 months. We'll see. I'm super skeptical of that, of the release through normal daily play. Like I was just talking to you. I barely am getting Dark Beast to 7 yellow this week. Maybe if I don't get 0 drops every day. While there are many ways to speed this up, including the strike pass or offers, players can earn 7 yellow stars entirely for free by playing the game. We'll see. Our goal is to ensure new characters are useful and relevant to the metagame for at least a year. This means that there's still plenty of value in these characters by the time they're easily accessible to all players. We'll see. We intend to make shards more freely available via a variety of means, increase the stack sizes of war and raid stores from 5 to 10 to 20 shard stacks. That sounds great. Increase the war store slots from 3 to 9. Sounds great. Increase the raid store character slots from 4 to 9. Again, that sounds fine. Arena Blitz and Raid Orb drops twice as many character shards as before. Arena characters immediately go to the store where we previously were Orb exclusive. Increase character shard drop rates for all campaigns. Regularly providing more currencies to buy shards and resources in the store. To get this started, we will be sending an inbound message in the near future with a gift of all free store currency. Finder offers will have their price adjusted more accurately reflect the value of the character team current meta. You would agree this is good, right? And this wasn't a part of the original system at all.
I would agree that it's good. And I would also add that I think if there's one thing that good that came out of them trying to add another progression system is all of us, including the envoys, because you guys were a big part in pushing for this as well, getting that put in, because character cadence, the farmability cadence, has been something we've asked for from the beginning, that they've kind of, not really given us a strong answer on. And because they wanted this progression system, we were able to, push them to do this finally. I think outside of even the new progression system, finally having a character cadence, that's amazing.
Yep. And so dated 10/24, which is today, Cosmo is to be added to the Cosmic Crucible store.
Which is my birthday.
What's that?
Which is my birthday.
Happy
today.
birthday! Happy birthday!
Thank you,
I got to play the happy birthday song just for you. Oh well. Anyways, happy birthday. So happening today, Iron Fist and Gwenpool added to the Blitz store and Orbs. Firestar added to the War store. Korg added to the Raid store and Raid Orb. Starlight Nation to the Arena store Orb. I have not seen that yet, but maybe that'll happen at server reset today. We will see. All right, let's get to the core of what diamonds are. I'm just going to skip to the meat of it. Diamonds are basically just blue stars, or a 9, 8, 9, and 10 stars, right? I mean, it's not that complicated. Character has to be 7 red and 7 yellow to get diamonds, and then there initially is going to be 3 levels, but they made it sound like there's gonna be further, it's gonna keep growing, just like the ISO system expanded. Like they're gonna expand this in the future. They don't know exactly, but I don't think this is the end of this diamonds. I think it's gonna keep going. But initially,
I don't think that any of these progression systems ever end.
No.
I think that's what the game is built on.
Yes, I think you're right. 10%, 10%, 15% boost. How to upgrade them. Well, how to get them and how to upgrade them are two different things. There's going to be a new game mode, and we'll get into the new game mode here in a minute, and that's going to be the initial way they roll them out. And then, of course, there's going to be offers, right? Eventually, there's going to be offers, but I think they're going to stall that for a little bit. And I'm expecting this next patch, which is probably the end of the Crucible season. Would you say that sounds right here pretty soon?
I do believe that 11.2 or up around there is the date for the next patch, but that's TBD. Anything can change with these guys all the time.
I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of this happened in the next 2 weeks. Here are many comparisons between the method of upgrading red stars and diamonds. There will be diamond orbs available in the store orb section that drop 3 different levels of diamond credits. So there's silver diamond credits and dark diamond credits. I feel like that's pretty easy to understand, that there's basically dark promotion characters and normal characters, right?
Right.
Yeah, there's not much to it. So there are going to be 2 different types of orbs, and I don't know if they spell them out here, but one of them actually dropped like 7 reds, and one of them didn't. If that's the way I remember? I don't know if it's still the same. We'll have to see. Diamond orb, guaranteed 20 silver diamond credits per open, and the main orb is going to be the Diamond Dawn orb, which has a guaranteed 8 silver diamond credits. And the reason why that's important is that they said on average these diamond orbs would drop 10. You need 50 silver diamond credits to take a character from 7 red, 7 yellow to diamond 1. So that's a pretty good system, right? If you want to upgrade, let's say, I think this is going to be good on characters like OG Hulk and like Gambit characters that you can get to 7 yellow pretty easily.
Absolutely. You'll definitely have some freedom in, that's why we were happy to flatten out the reds, so that people had a better option on what they wanted to get to diamond first. So you definitely have more agency there.
Yeah, there's going to be some agency. All right, so they talk about the system. The cost to upgrade the characters with silver diamond credits, like I said, 50 of them. That's going to be like a gold promotion credit, but it's going to diamond promotion credit. They're going to call it silver diamond credits. You can go to diamond 1, 2, and 3 with this amounts right here. And then there also is going to be a pity system. Now, this is something that was drastically changed as well. Is the initial way of getting the Diamond Dawn orbs is going to be in Sword Satellite. And there is a requirement on this, 5 yellow stars. What was the original requirement on this system? Holy moly, right?
The original requirement was 7 red, 7 yellow.
7 red, 7 yellow was what...
we pushed back hard against that.
So
that just
you
no
guys
sense.
saw me bitching and moaning about stuff that was coming and not wanting to go back to... it was because of this kind of stuff. It was just outrageous. Like, it was like so outrageous bad.
I think our position was, how many times does the community have to say this is bad before you guys actually get it?
Yeah, and they weren't listening to you or me. It was like everybody was saying, it was like, what are you guys thinking over there? Anyways, character requirement, 5 yellow stars. I don't know that this compromise makes it great. It's just better than it was. Does that make sense also?
Right.
Like, I want to see how this plays out. Like, the jury's out.
Well, the actual way that we stated was, don't put a requirement on it. Just let people just make the requirement the difficulty. So, maybe there'll be some smart players that can, put together something at 5 yellow, 5 red that really works, some smart, skilled players. And there's no reason to lock those players out behind a 7 red, 7 yellow. But for the most part, the difficulty is what should dictate whether people upgrade or not. You shouldn't have to tell them or make it so that they have to.
Right. I mean, because basically, I was locked out of using my Apocalypse even, right? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, you couldn't even use your
scroll.
Yeah,
your scroll.
You couldn't even use your Apocalypse or your scroll in this primary way of getting diamond stars. You couldn't even use Apocalypse. Like, what were they? I don't know how they thought that was a good idea, right? Like, you saw my comment about that. Holy moly, yeah. It was just like, oh my god. Anyways, So there's going to be a new system. I want to say it's like Tower 2.0. Is that the easiest way to describe it? It's a little different, but Tower 2.0.
It's a little different. You won't fall so many floors. I don't think it's like, I think that there are different checkpoints. So I think the checkpoints are every 5 floors or something like that. So, if you mess up, you just go back 5 as opposed to, 20 like the original Avengers Tower. But outside of that, it's pretty much the same.
All right. So I think it's a pretty simple concept. And basically, just to sum her up in like one paragraph, diamond stars are an extension of red stars that requires 7 red, 7 yellow. There's going to be a new tower mode. Is to be the initial way that we're going to get them. Eventually, the rewards will be pivoting to Cosmic Crucible, which is also said in the blog. Of course, there's going to be offers and things like that. The big takeaway also is they're drastically promising to make availability on 7 yellows, because I've been opening red stars and I'm saying, yeah, it doesn't even matter. I don't have the yellows. So there is a revamp on the 7 on the yellow star system. Well, so let's go over your concerns and objections. Farming isn't coming early enough. Sweet spot where you don't jeopardize the spender advantage, make it too late to be beneficial. What's your take on that? Or you wrote this, so what do you mean by that?
Yeah. So my take on it was, we couldn't really revamp the model. The model is what the model is. It's always been that, spenders have always had a small advantage. You compete within your spending buckets. That's the way it's always been. But what we did try to do is we tried to remove all the bottlenecks for everybody to get to diamond. So the idea being that everybody has access to these diamond orbs at some point. It's not a unfathomable thing.
Right.
I don't want a free to play to come in and be like, well, I have 18 reds and 18 characters at 7 red and 5 characters at 7 yellow. I'm never going to do this.
Right. Yeah, so the problem, I think, with the initial system was that it was going to widen the gap between the heavy Kraken spenders and free to play, where there will be a gap. We're not saying there's going to be no gap, because that's not the nature of the game. It's a pay to win game, right? It is, but the spread was on the initial system that they were proposing was a lot wider than this system, and then there were some concessions and allowing people to get to 7 yellow faster. Completion is coming too late. Characters won't have relevancy any longer by the time you complete. Window for obsolescence is about a year ago. For example, at the end of 6 months, the characters and moderately engaged players would have its 7 yellow star from the meta. So you talk about the raid teams and so on. And then so Invaders, Rebirth, Masters of Evil, Death Seed, War Dogs, Unlimited, and Darkhold. And I've said this to you before, I'm barely getting my 7th yellow star on Dark Beast probably this week. That's how long it takes.
Mm-hmm. So that's something that we think was addressed in their promise of farmability. So if 6 to 7 months, we did a spreadsheet, like I said, where to see what was available to us at 6 to 7 months, and if those characters were still relevant to the meta, and almost all of them were still relevant to the meta. As we said, we can't recreate the system to a point where spenders are not getting an advantage or getting the worth out of their spend. That's just not something we were able to do. But we were able to guarantee that if you are an engaged player, you can still compete.
Okay. And I think you have the same skepticism that I have. We don't trust Scopely to live up to the word on farmability. Expect these changes to be in-game effective on the 2nd of November. And I think there's, they've made some bold claims in this post and some promises. I've already bookmarked this page and will be referring to it often. And I know a lot of other people, including a lot of people that you work with over at the Play Voice, will be looking to keep them accountable to this post, correct?
And we also welcome the community to keep us accountable in keeping them accountable. And we told them that we would have to be very aggressive keeping them accountable. And they seem to be fine with that. So I'm hoping they keep their word.
Yep. Anything you want to say before we go? We're going to wrap it up.
I just want to say thank you for having me on. And I hope a lot of people give it a chance, see how it works. There's some good parts to it. It never feels good to have a new progression system. It's never a good feeling, but we did get some good parts. We did get some good concessions in having them put this in.
That sounds accurate to me. All right. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Bye for now.